Well, good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today, we're going to look at my camera equipment. I've been asked a few times about my camera equipment, so I thought, hey, let's go through it. I do have a lot of stuff, but mostly because my European background's there, and I don't throw things out. Now, as most of you know from my vlogs, I have bought a green screen set with lights and the stand, green screen, black screen, lights. I also have some work lights that I use as both work lights and lights for this. But yeah, I've used this a few times. You'll see it in some upcoming videos. Tripods are next. Tripods. So this is a True Digital. This is one that I've hodgepodged back together. It's just a shitty one that I bought at a liquidation store. It does have your... It has a lot better reach than a lot of the ones I have. This will go up to 70 inches, so I can get a lot out of it. But it was cheap. It works though, and that's all that matters. I use that down here in the basement. Things that have traveled with me. Let me just move these. Things that have traveled with me and things that I've used for other things. Dollar store cell phone tripod. Well, not tripod, just cell phone holder. So, doesn't work the greatest. It was from the dollar store, but it works sometimes. Little Gorilla Pod. I use this for things like the shower reviews. This is a Finesco selfie stick tripod. So it has a tripod adapter at the bottom to make it into a tripod. It is a selfie stick, but it's created specifically for cell phones. It works. It works well. I use this for our vlogs. I use this whenever I'm recording a beer video down here with the cell phone. I usually use this. It works. Only thing I would complain about is there's no padding on the actual clamp, so the clamp can leave marks on your phones if your phones are the larger style. I mean, this that I'm holding right now works fine in it, but my actual cell phone does not. This is a Youngtang, which is another... it's a monopod slash selfie stick with your average screw footing. It works. It's cheap. It works. It does its thing. Then we have a Polaroid tripod, which goes up to about 56 inches, so not quite as good as the True Digital, but built better. It does have the hand piece for stabilization, has a nicer head. All in all, it is a nicer tripod, just not as high. It doesn't go as high. Then we have the Weneer camera rig. So your camera would go right on here. That would go on your shoulder, and then it stabilizes it, and you can move it back and forth and stuff. I actually quite enjoy this. I've been playing with it for a few weeks now. I didn't let anyone know that I had it until now, because I wanted to surprise people when me and Guy were both walking around with one. Just a shitty condensing mic. I've used this on tabletop interviews and stuff. It does its job. An Olympus XLR. This was one of my old stage mics from my band. Great dynamic sound normally from it, but when I'm using it via reviews, at least lately, it's not been all that great because my Sony only does mono sound, so it's kind of overkill. Now this microphone has always been a friend of mine. I've had it now for 8 years. I bought it for filming in breweries. It cost me $17. It's a $17 Sony mic, and this is the only microphone. I've used up to $300 mics in breweries, but this is the only microphone whose range is so low that it only picks up the voice. You could be standing beside a compressor, and it's going to hear you and not the compressor, so I love it for that. Do I have any other microphones? I do have one. I have not used this yet, but I do know that it's basically the same one that both Nick and Chris use. It's a Neewer mic for digital SLR, nice footing and all that. I actually, the sound that comes off of Chris's camera is great, so hopefully this will work for me. Just picked that up over the last little while. Now, cameras are what's left. What we're filming on right now is my old cell phone. So this is a Moto G second generation. I use this for our vlogs. I use this as a backup camera, that type of stuff. If we're on location and I'm not intending to film, I'm just going out to a brewery or something, all those videos will come up on the Moto X Play. Now, I used to use the Moto G, this Moto G here, for filming beer reviews themselves, but the Moto G has a heat-up problem. It heats up very fast, and that's when you would get those color saturations. The videos where the color would just go up and down and up and down and up and down. It was this camera overheating. The Moto X does not do that, so I can use it more often, but I don't like to very often because, you know, if I'm doing these alone, I get better angles if I'm using a video camera instead of one of these, because my Fonesco gets good reach, but it doesn't give me that great angle, and then I have to edit it, and because of me leaving and coming back, half the time I'm not wearing pants, and nobody wants to see that. I'm usually wearing underwear, but even just not wearing pants, nobody wants to see that. Other things I have over here. Well, this one is just a shout out of a time gone by. This is my Sony DCR SX63. This was the Handycam that really started the upgrade of the channel over time. It's standard definition. It's old. It's from maybe 6 months into the review's existence. This thing has been dropped so many times that the memory card does not work anymore, but there's an onboard 16 gigs, I believe. The stickers are gone, so I don't remember exactly how much it is, but I'm pretty sure it was an onboard 16 gig memory, and that's starting to fail too. So this camera's lifespan with me isn't much more. I'll probably let my kids play with it, but I keep it because it's a memory for me. This was the first camera that the first camera that we ever recorded on the beer review was a Fuji FinePix J10, and the sound fucking sucked on it, which is why I went out and bought this. But yeah, this guy is now becoming a dinosaur. Now, recently, any beer review you see right now that isn't done on my webcams on my webcams, anything you've seen recently that isn't done on my cell phones is pretty much done on this guy. So there you go. The HDR CX03, is that it, or 13? Sorry, I'm blind and all that, right? CX13. So this is basically, I bought this. When I bought this, I bought it because I wanted an HD camera for doing video at breweries, and it said it said online that it had a microphone slot, because I knew I needed a microphone slot for filming at breweries. So I bought it. It was like $400 at the time, years and years ago. And you know, you open it up and you get all excited and you're like, yeah. And you open up the door and you're like, yeah, I'm going to start filming. I'm going to start doing everything. And then you're like, oh shit, there's no headphone jack. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you go online and you read it up afterwards and you find out that every store that was selling it at the time falsely advertised it. But you kept it because you were stupid. And you filmed with it. But it's done its job, so I mean, that's fine. Just put it here. So then I went out when I was able to, and I got this guy. This is what I've used until Chris joined me. This is what was being used at the CX360. This is what was being used at breweries up until Chris started recording with me. This is what's been used at the festival for the guys walking around. It actually has a microphone slot. However, its only drawback is the microphone slot does mono only. I'm not going to get rid of these cameras. I'll still use them for different things because I still have like 12 batteries. I can't just get rid of them because of that. So it is what it is. Next we have the Polaroid Action Cam. It's a helmet cam, it's a fisheye, it's waterproof, shockproof, dustproof, all that sort of stuff. This is what I've used for for both the shower reviews and what we've used for the pool reviews at Simon's house. So this guy has done its job. It gets some nice picture, it gets some nice sound, it's big fish-eyed. The sound isn't that great when it comes out of the water, but hey, it's fun to play with. Now this is an SJ4000, which is basically a GoPro clone. It says it does 4K video. I haven't actually played too much with it yet. It did come with a whole kit, and great thing about it is it's such a clone that it fits into every one of the GoPro accessories. I had a whole GoPro accessory kit too. Basically, I'm going to wear this on my chest at the beer festival. I'm going to play with it some more before then, just to get a feel for it, but it's going to be fun, I think. It's going to be fun. I picked this up for like $150. I was going to buy the GoPro itself, but I mean, I don't use it for the type of things that a GoPro is used for. It's just for fucking around with for the most part. So $100 instead of $400 worked for me. Another camera that you guys have seen in use quite often is right over here. It is one of my endoscopics. I have 3 endoscopic cameras. This one is a computer hookup endoscopic, so USB. I have cell phone endoscopics too, so micro USB. It has an LED light in it. This one is still wrapped. Ever used this one? The two cell phone ones, I don't know where they are. I'm trying to find them right now, to be honest with you. They're wherever the fucking lens cap for one of my cameras is, and that would be this camera here. So this is my Nikon D3000. Yeah, I bought this years ago. I use it for family photos and stuff for the most part. It is what it is. It does a job. I mean, it does its job. I have some lenses for it. I had some accessories for it. I enjoyed it. It's done its family duty. I might try and sell it as the body only for like $40 if somebody ends up being curious about it. It does not take video. That's its main problem. I bought it thinking it would take video. I didn't look into it all that much, to be honest with you. It was on a clearance sale. I didn't look into it. I bought it, and then I found out I was an idiot, and I should have looked into it. But then you go back to this guy, and I did look into him, and what the internet said was incorrect. Well, what the store said was incorrect to what was true. So, I mean, we have this guy. It's these cameras, my Sonys, are all in the 7 to 9 year old range. So I thought it was time to upgrade. They're starting to get failures. They're starting to get problems. That's a shoe for my True Digital. They're starting to have failures. They're starting to have problems. So actually, just this week, I took some of my tax money and I upgraded. I upgraded to a Nikon D5300. Some people are in love with Canon. Some people are in love with Pentax. Some people are in love with Sony. I'm not in love with Nikon, but I like Nikon. I'm familiar with Nikon. I've done some great pictures with the D3000, so I'm familiar with what Nikon has to offer. So this was just a good way to go for me. It has more bells and whistles than the D5100 and the D5200, but it's for buying the body only was $300 less than buying the 5500, and I didn't really need what the 5500 offered. So maybe in the future I would have, and I'll be sad that I bought this, but this is what I have for now. And I mean that's pretty much my stockpile of equipment. I have some lenses. This guy is a fisheye lens. This guy is a wide-angle macro lens. Over there is the original lens for a Nikon. It's just a 18 to 55, and there's a 50 to 200 on the D3000 right now. It is what it is. I think it's a nice little haul of electronics here. It's what I use. So basically cell phones, old camcorders, and a new DSLR. That's what I have. And not even the top of the line DSLR. I mean, I think what Chris records on when we do our beer-umentaries is a 7100. But I mean, he is a professional photographer. I'm just a hobbyist that fucks around with things. I've thought about wanting to get a new drone. Now, for some of you, you know I have drones. I have a whole bunch of Holy Stone drones. Holy Stone, I bought a drone, and I did some video with the drone, and they loved it, and they sent me a whole bunch of other drones to review. And there's things I want to do with drones, and there's plans I have for drones. But the Holy Stone drones, though they can fly well, and they're cheap to buy, they're not reliable enough to do what I want. I'd love to fly a drone over the Albino Rhino Beer Festival, or have one that follow me around the beer festival for a bit. But the Holy Stone stuff, I would just be afraid of them veering off into somebody's face. So I've thought about getting like a DJI Phantom 3 or a Parrot Bebop 2 or something, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend $600 on a drone. I mean, that's still cheap. I mean, there's a lot of people that are paying $1,200 to $2,000 on drones, like say the DJI Maverick. But again, I'm not a professional with it. I'm a hobbyist, so I don't know if I want to pay big money. I could go for like the Parrot Pro 2, which is $380, but then it has a lot of features that the Bebop has that I don't get. Yeah. So this is our haul. This has been a 15-minute video, so I'm gonna have to stop this now. Bye guys. What do you film on? Tell me.